got some breaking news for the Montreal Canadiens. They have fired their head coach, Claude Julien, who also coached the Boston Bruins when they won the Stanley Cup back in 2011. That's my team. You already know what to do. Um, their assistant coach Dominique Ducharme. I butchered that. If I did, I apologize. He will be taking over as the interim coach. The Canadians, believe it or not, actually had a very strong start, but they've lost two of their last 8 games, and they're currently 9-5-4. Which I mean, it's not bad, but it could be better, of course. Um, and I personally, I don't know what to think about this, and I'll get to why I think that is in a minute. I just want to read something which I actually didn't think was true, but until I read this, they're 8 points behind the division leading Toronto Maple Leafs, which are still comfortably in the fourth seeded spot, which would qualify for the playoffs. And the source for this was Emily Kaplan at ESPN. So, Amar, I want to start off with this because I want to explain why I'm confused. I really do. I mean, here's the thing, okay? Claude Julien is actually a really good head coach, and I want to prove that to you guys. He led Boston to a Stanley Cup in 2011. I already mentioned that, and he ranks 13th in NHL history with 667 career wins. He's a really good coach. He knows what he's doing. Um, and believe it or not, I didn't mention this either, but I want to mention it. He was one of the highest paid coaches in the NHL, and he was earning $5 million a season, which is actually a lot for hockey. Believe it or not, their payroll is different than the other three major sports in America. But I don't know what to think of this. I mean, me personally, I'm a Bruins fan, so I don't care what the Canadians do. Because like, if you know if you're a Bruins fan, you know that we don't those damn Canadians, man. Ooh, ooh, yeah. But whatever. But when we're looking at it at a team standpoint, 9-5-4, could it be better? Absolutely. But is it good? Is it relatively bad? No. I mean, it's good. They're let me look it up real quick. I think they're fourth or fifth in there. They're fourth in their division behind the leading Maple Leafs. The Maple Leafs lead their division, the Oilers and the Jets. So they're not a bad team. They could be better, like I said, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Um, I don't know. I don't know what to think about it, dude. I mean, did they make the right choice? Honestly, in a way, I say it's like a 51-49 thing for me. It's no, or not 51-49. I would say like a 65-35, if that makes any sense. Like, no, it's not right, but at the same time, I can kind of see why they did it. It's a weird situation. I don't know why they fired him. The team's been doing a lot better than what they've been doing in the past couple of years. I mean, they made the playoffs last year. Probably had something to do with the lockout because of COVID. But I don't know. I really don't know. But I don't know. I personally think I'm leaning a little bit more towards this was probably a bad idea for the Canadians. But I mean, it's their choice, not mine. So I do wish Claude Julien the best of luck. I hope he gets another job in the NHL. Same thing with Dominique Ducharme. I'm butchering that. I assume I'm butchering that. I wish him the best of luck too. And even though I'm a Bruins fan, I still wish the Canadians the best of luck. I just don't know exactly how to feel about this.
Yeah, well, before I say anything, I just want to say I hope Claude Julien, I wish him the best of luck in the future and his future endeavors with the NHL. See, Nate, two things I think are going on here, right? Either the Montreal Canadiens are rebuilding, they're going to start this rebuilding process, or they're looking for even better. Okay. And usually when you fire a good coach, right, there's usually another reason behind it. I'm not talking about
Right.
personal reasons. The other reason behind it could be like, you just don't feel like they're going to get over the hump. Simple as that. And that happens a lot. You know what I'm saying? That happens a lot. So like, there's been coaches in sports who had who made it to the playoffs consecutive times and they just haven't done anything with it,
Right.
Um, I'm trying to think of some off the top of my head, but I can't. I think Tom Thibodeau was one. When he was with the Chicago Bulls, he was making it to playoffs, but again, they weren't doing what they were supposed to do in the playoffs, so they ended up firing him.
After
But
the Super Bowl run, Doug Pearson was around the
right,
same
the difference
thing.
between him was like he made it one more time and that was it. He didn't
Yeah.
it wasn't like in a row. This is pretty interesting. Okay, now here's the question: what's the problem with firing a good coach? You have to hire one who you think is going to get you
He's
over the
even
hump.
better.
Right, and that's the problem. Like for instance, I'll give you an example. And I know your mom's a Cowboys fan, so she's very familiar with this. When Jerry Jones first came in as the owner of the Cowboys, right? Tom Landry was the coach, head coach. They ended up firing Tom Landry and they brought in Jimmy Johnson. It paid off because Jimmy Johnson was able to win 3 Super Bowls out of 4 in 4 years. Tom Landry only won 2. So at times it does pay off, but you got to make sure you hire the right staff around you. You got to make sure you have the right team around you. It's not just the coaches. It's the coaches, the players, everything. They all have to click. Everything has to click in order for you to win a Super Bowl. It's as simple as that. And if the Canadians are looking to hire better, I mean, honestly, right now, I couldn't tell you who's on the market. You would have to wait to the off season. I think it's kind of weird to fire him now. I think it's kind of weird to, fire him now early in the season,
That's probably why I find it a little weird.
which could lead to the theory about the rebuild. They hired I'm looking at the name right now. They hired a longtime NHL winger Alex Burrows to the coaching staff. They fired Kirk Muller. So a lot of this. So if you really look at it, it looks like they're really doing different things to this coaching staff. You know what I'm saying? As far as Alex Burrow, longtime player. Well, he's a rookie as a coach. So that could lead up to the rebuild mode. You know what I'm saying? You're getting a player to help your coaching staff. So what they could be, there's 2 things they could be doing, Nate. They're either trying to look for better for next year or they're rebuilding, and the rebuilding starts now. Because think about it this way. You go from head coach to assistant coach, right? You play it out. Most likely you might not make the playoffs. Most likely that's what happens when you go from head coach to intern. You don't make the playoffs. They don't make the playoffs. They get a decent draft pick and they get somebody from the draft. You know what I'm saying? They get a nice young, they probably get a young player they can build around. Or they play this season out, they get that young player, and then they get somebody, and then they get a head coach that they feel is even better than Julian sees Claude, not Julian, excuse me, Claude Julien. So a couple things could be happening here, Nate. You know what I'm saying? I mean, time will tell. Personally, I'm gonna go rebuild. Personally, I think rebuild mode is happening. I feel like the Canadians realize, like, look, we're not really getting over this hump. And what's the point of going to the playoffs, getting probably knocked out in the first or second round, and then getting a late draft pick? Really, like, that's not like as good as it is to go to playoff appearances, right? It's not good to kind of get close to it and lose. You know what I'm saying? Because then you're stuck with a later draft pick too, opposed to having a very crappy season and then you get that number 1 pick, that everybody's looking for. At least with that, you can rebuild your team. We've seen it many times. The Cleveland Browns have done it. The Phoenix Suns have done it. I'm trying to think. Dallas Mavericks with Luka, like they've done it. You can go even more, Nate. I mean, MLB, it's a lot tougher because these guys end up not coming in until like a couple years later. But anyway, going to it, that's what I feel like is going to happen with the Montreal Canadiens. I feel like rebuild mode is starting. And honestly, I don't have a problem with that. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to make it to the second round and get eliminated and get like a 20-something overall pick, it's not really helping you in the end, unless that 20-something overall pick was really looked down upon, like it could happen. Like I know Randy Moss was a 21st pick. You get those late round picks like Tom Brady and Antonio Brown who end up becoming stars. You get you know what I'm saying? But like most likely the top players in college came from usually go out in the early rounds. Usually go out in the early picks, excuse me. So that's why I feel like it's not, you shouldn't be like, I feel like it's not really anything great to like, it's good to go to the playoffs. That's obviously a good milestone. But the whole point of it is to win, the championship in that sport. So there's no point in going, losing in like the second round, and then you get that later pick. So if they want to rebuild, I mean, like personally, if I was a Montreal Canadian fan, I'd be bummed about it for like this season because obviously you're not going to be playing good. But at the same time, you also got to realize what the future is ahead. We could rebuild a whole new team, and then we can end up building something great in Montreal to the point where we do win a Stanley Cup, opposed to just making it to the second round and losing. So, I mean, with that being said, I wish Claude Julien the best of luck. I wish the Montreal Canadiens the best of luck, and we'll see what happens.